So moving on, have you guys heard about this? Qualcomm Snapdragon 775G could be announced on June 17th. Oh, that's tomorrow. This is new news with substantial CPU and GPU improvements. So, okay, let's kind of unpack this. I think yesterday I was trying to find the word unpack and I said unravel, but let's try to unpack this now that I remember what word I was trying to say. So, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 775G. There's already the 765G that is supposedly coming on the Pixel 5 that's currently in the LG Velvet. This Snapdragon 765G is reportedly coming to a bunch of, I guess if you want to call it mid-range phones, or not the high-end chipset like the 865 Snapdragon processor. But not too long ago, we just heard that there was another upgraded 765G coming out called the 768G, which is an overclocked version of the 765G. And we don't know what that's coming. Like, we don't know what phones that's going to be coming out for. I think they might have had a list, but it already now made the Snapdragon 765G outdated in a way. And it also made a lot of us sit here and, think to ourselves, well, hopefully Google will put the 768G now in the Pixel 5. But here we go. Now we're talking about a Snapdragon 775G. And maybe this is what they should be putting into the Pixel 5. Will they? I don't know. Will they ever have a Pixel 4a? I don't know. Will the Pixel 5 be delayed? Maybe. We don't know with Google. This Snapdragon 775G, it was back in December 2019 that Qualcomm announced. Sorry, let me switch this back here. That Qualcomm announced its most affordable 5G chipset dubbed as the Snap 765G, and now it seems Qualcomm is poised to announce a successor, as the chipset maker has scheduled another Snapdragon launch event for June 17, which is tomorrow. So I wasn't even aware of this. So we'll talk about this tomorrow if it hasn't been announced, or if it got announced before I do the stream. That's a lot of chipsets coming out. I hope that the Pixel 5 isn't done, and maybe this is a plug and play chipset that they could put, because that would be awesome to see something, with a little more power, a better GPU, just better performance overall. So that, and I don't say it because I want the highest performing chipset, but sometimes I talk about it because I talk about longevity. I talk about people who might own a Pixel 5 for the next 3 years, maybe 4 years, and they still want it to be snappy. They still want it to be serviceable, like through the end of its life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting that, which is why I kind of push for more power out of these. That's why people have said to me, like, well, you don't need an 865. I might not. But imagine the people who have a Snapdragon 845 chipset who are still running it years long, years down the road or whatever. They still want something that's going to perform well. And that's probably why they're sticking with higher end phones, because they know that they can have it for the long haul. Sometimes you buy a mid-range phone, or a phone that doesn't perform as fast as these higher end phones, and you might not get the same longevity out of it. So you kind of have to think about, when you're buying a phone, sometimes the question too is, how long do you think you're going to keep it for? How long is that support important to you when it comes to updates? And how well will it work after it gets the new OS year after year? Well, after year when it comes to Pixels, usually it's just year after year for Samsung and other companies, unless you're like LG and you get 1 year of updates, sometimes 2, just depends. So sorry, I know I kind of went off, or not really went off, just off topic. But so reports suggest that the new chip will be named as the Snap 775G, although it could be something else as well. It is also being reported that Xiaomi will be one of the first, if not the first, to make use of the newest 5G chip. The new chip is said to bring improvements in CPU and GPU by 40% and 50% respectively. Those are pretty big marks, while also getting Vulkan-related graphics improvements. The chip's internal code name is SM7350, expected to use 4 Cortex A77 large cores. leading to substantial performance gains. In comparison, the 765G uses two Cortex A76 cores. So already there's a big performance improvement in this 775G. I would much, whoa, I would much rather have this 775G in the Pixel 5 than whatever the 765G is going to come with, because it already sounds super outdated. I mean, the Pixel 5 is not out yet. Google, I know you're not listening to me, and I know you couldn't care less about what I have to say, but if for any reason, if anyone that works at Google gets word of this and it's easy as plug and play or whatever, why not put the 775G in there? Like, do it for me. I mean, we're tight, right? I've known you for a while. I bought your phones for for a bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm obviously very comfortable in front of the camera lately. So interestingly, reports suggest that it could be built on the 6 nanometer architecture, making it the most powerful mid-range chipset in its portfolio. This would be the first time Qualcomm employs the 6 nanometer process. In addition, it is possible that we could see a Snap 865 Plus version similar to last year's iterative Snap 855 Plus upgrade. However, nothing is confirmed yet. Whatever the case, we expect a new 5G chipset to launch for sure, and this will likely lead to the current 5G crop of SoCs to become cheaper. That's also a really good point. It'll make the other chipsets cheaper, hence making way for even more affordable 5G phones. There have been rumors that Qualcomm is also working on 5G chips in the 6 series. However, their exact launch time frame is not yet known. So, yeah, I'm excited in a way. I'm only excited because I'm hoping that it's going to come on phones that I want to see it come out for. But knowing Google and knowing their track record, I mean, how long did I go off yesterday on the Pixel 4a being delayed until almost October? Maybe that's the rumor. Not happy about that, but it also gives me very little hope that the Pixel 5 is going to have anything better than a Snap 765G. Probably not a 768G, probably not this new 775G, which, if those numbers are correct, should be a lot better and probably better performing than like maybe a 2-year-old Snap 800 series, maybe. But we'll see. That's as much hope as I can give Google at this point. George says the Pixel 4a is a unicorn. You might be spot on with that statement. Whenever it comes out, and if it comes out in that blue color, that'll be the unicorn. That'll be the unicorn. I'm excited about the idea of a $700 Google Pixel 5 that gives me the stuff I like about Google's previous phones, yet doesn't bring the hesitation that the Pixel 3 and 4 did, because those phones tried to be something that something they weren't. I'm still not on board. I'm not on board with this article, at least the last part of this article. I wouldn't be excited about a $700 Pixel 5 that has a Snap 765G chipset, especially knowing the fact that the OnePlus Z is going to come out for 350 to 400. Yes, we can sit here and we can argue the fact that the Pixel 5 is going to have a much better camera, which is most likely going to be the case. The Pixel 5 will probably have a great camera. How good is it going to be? I don't know. But here's another point I have to make. And I will drill this point down, because I know there are probably people who are going to watch this who are like, Jerome, you're making a big deal out of this. $700 is fair. Is it though? Is it fair that would you pay $700 for this Pixel 5, knowing full well that the iPhone 12 will be coming out, the rumor, but if the rumors are correct, the iPhone 12, $650, which will have a much faster performance chipset, which will also be supported most likely longer, so we'll see as far as battery if the Pixel 5 is actually going to have a better battery this time. But I'm sure that the iPhone 12 is going to carry on from the iPhone 11 and still have a superb battery from it. Yeah. Is the UI the best? No, it isn't. And that's something I've made clear to many people. So that might be the only differentiating factor is how is the UI going to be. But the camera, right now, the iPhone 11 Pro is still, or the iPhone 11 still bests the Pixel 4 in the camera department, especially at night using night mode. So if it's hard for it's not only that. So I don't know what the display is going to be on the Pixel 5 versus the iPhone 12, which is supposedly going to also have a much better display, an OLED display this time. Pixel 5 might have a higher refresh rate. So those are things to consider. But again, at a $700 price point, I think the Pixel 5 is already pricing itself out of competition where it doesn't need to. So if they were going to price it high, they might as well price it at $650. So at least it competes directly with the iPhone 12. If the camera on the iPhone 12 is going to be better than the Pixel 5, then you're going to hear me all day talk about how Google messed up again. If the battery isn't as good, or at least close to what the iPhone 12 or iPhone 11 offers in terms of battery life, you're going to hear me talk about it all day about how Google messed up again. I could go on about it. Who knows how good Face Unlock is going to be? Is it going to be good enough now that developers will make sure that Face Unlock works? Because my Chase app, I still can't unlock. I still can't unlock my Chase app with my face. I still can't unlock my Capital One app without with my face. I have to put my password in. And yeah, now it's auto complete, right? So it's as simple as just adding an extra tap, but it's still an extra step that I don't have to do on my iPhone. It's not something I worry about on my iPhone 11 Pro. I don't agree with the price. I'll take 650 if that's what they want to price it at. If the cameras will be superior to the iPhone 12, if the battery will at least come close to whatever the iPhone 12 brings. I want to be optimistic. I want to be the glasses half full kind of guy. I just don't know if I'm there right now with Google. Uh, the Pixel 4 was not, and it still isn't the best experience for me. And then hearing the news about the Pixel 4a, it just makes me question a lot of stuff that's going on right now. It really does.